The following is a critique of the 2024 World Championship of Public Speaking from Anaheim, California. The critique is by 5 world champions of public speaking and 1 world-class comedy writer. This is designed for educational and inspirational purposes. Lean in, hang on, and learn. Be a sponge.
I'm particular about attire, and as soon as you walked on stage, I wrote out immediately, sharp. And not only that, but it stood out very clearly from the background of the stage. So it was on the darker side, so if somebody came in with a darker suit, it could be a little bit difficult. Now, we did have good lighting, so I don't think that was too much of a concern, but great attire. I love the modern take. So we say usually that there's no unique speech, there's no unique topic. However, with AI, this is something that is relatively new. So this is modern. This is something that we have never heard about before in a speech. Mm-hmm. So that made it unique, that made it novel. So great job with that. I loved the emotions that you expressed throughout. For instance, I wrote down the one where, doesn't she sound fake? And I could just feel that energy. Oh, you hate Sophia.
That came from a deep place.
Yeah, that was personal. That was real. But you also had fantastic use of what I call sensory. So anything that can plant an image in your mind, tap any of the 5 senses, and again, emotion, those will take the audience with you. So great job with that. Now, the one thing that I said that could have made your speech a little bit more clear, or not a little bit more clear, but I think your voice matters should have been the message. That was something that I said, oh, I love that. Your voice matters.
Yeah, that's good.
And that would have been a great way to end the speech, telling the audience and reminding them that your voice matters.
That's a very good line.
Yeah.
Cool. So when your speech title was read, I thought right away, I know what this speech message is going to be. You were replaced by some woman named Sophia, which came with the very nice, unexpected twist that it wasn't a person, it was AI. And when I initially heard that, I thought, okay, I know what this is about. I didn't check out, but it's like, if it seems to be that, I might. But then that twist was very nice and kept me engaged. You had some great lines throughout this. One of them was the question, have you ever felt thrown away like a piece of trash? Now, I made the observation that several of the speeches had, have you ever questions. And sometimes if there's a lot of them echoing, they can be a little bit less effective the more I hear more of them. But that particular question, number one, it was early on, and the essence of the question itself was gripping for me.
Can I piggyback on that?
Sure.
Same thing. Anyway, consider what is the exact answer to have you ever? Is yes or no. Consider when was the last time you.
Yeah.
Now I go to a memory instead of a yes or no answer. Now, because now you connect to that memory, and that memory brings us through the speech.
Yeah. So
That's unusually good for Darren. That's a good one.
well, you notice he had to interrupt me to do that. All right. And there were several other lines that were really great, but the last one I'll mention is the one that really resonated strongly with me. When you talked about the line as I wrote it down was, if you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat under the words. When you said that, I was just like, ooh. And that was like beautiful. That was solid. I really, really appreciated that. And I'm sure that some of your other lines that you wrote that were excellent will be mentioned by the others, but I'll
Angeli, you don't know me. I'm only here because I'm Darren's friend. So
he's a professional comedy writer.
I loved this speech. I loved it. As a member of the Writers Guild of America, I walked in a circle for 100+ days last year because of AI protection.
Okay.
And I know exactly how devastating artificial intelligence voice creation is to voice workers, actors and workers. So this connected with me immediately. I didn't know, again, great title. I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was going to be another woman. I had no idea. The fact that it was AI was amazing. You had a terrific use of humor. Again, back to, she sounds so fake. That was awesome. That was such a great moment because it was like petty and it was great. And
Appropriately petty.
It was just terrific.
Perfectly petty.
Yes.
It was wonderfully petty. And then what I really loved that you did that maybe one or two of the other speakers did, and again, it's all speech by speech, everything's different, but you created an antagonist. Okay, so you created somebody who was like the obstacle was a person, but it wasn't a person. And it was, and somehow, even though Sophia is the blandest antagonist of all time, you gave her personality. And I thought that was really awesome. I thought that your humanity and your attitude, like in juxtaposition to Sophia's absolute soulless blandness, was like, it was just fantastic. So I'm just telling you, it's obviously a really current topic, and I just, it really connected with me, so I'm really glad that thank you for doing it, at least for me.
Thank you.
And congratulations, because I thought it was fantastic.
I'm a fan of reactions. When you said you need to get out of the house, who was that again? That was Grace?
Grace, yeah, my best friend.
So what I would love when you introduce a substantial character is let us see them. So that was your friend Grace, but what did Grace look like? Because if we see the scene or see her, we're even more connected to you. So, and then when she says you need to get out of the house, you didn't react to that. You just went on to your next line. So, and again, it just could be just like Luis's, like, or whatever it is. It can be seconds, but it's almost like wrapping up that line. And then when you were at lunch with Bob, same thing. Let us just kind of get a sense for him. After he talked to you, you were, here's my philosophy. You don't have to follow this. But when you're in scene, when you're delivering dialogue, there's no audience. So you don't make eye contact with the audience as a character while you're delivering dialogue. So if you and he are having the conversation, we're just observing. We're not there. So you kind of turned to us and started telling us your thoughts. Again, tiny, minute, being super picky.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Can I just hop in on that? So this is again where mostly we will agree on everything, and we have different nuances. So I think one other option too, because I do personally think that I want my eyes to be on my audience at all times. Now, what was a way that I could navigate or compromise with that is that I would still give my characters a certain direction, and I look in that specific direction, but I'm still looking at the audience.
Right.
Because to me, if I'm looking at my character on the speech, there's nobody there. I'm talking to you, my audience. So it's just another option, as Darren said. It's his philosophy, I have my philosophy, but whatever works for you.
Yeah, and real quick, Lance, one other idea that I had was when you were in the story group, what was the name of the group?
It was just a writer's group.
The writers group. You had some great reflections about what you were feeling. I would have loved to hear your internal dialogue, like while you're still sitting there. Wow, that was a great da-da-da-da. Huh, yeah, she's a little, whatever you said. So taking the exact same thing, but turning it into internal reflection dialogue. And I loved your writing as Sophia. Like that was great. I love the juxtaposition. I lost it when you said, get a job, when she said, get a job.
That was great. That was a great line.
Great writing.
Really good writing.
Okay, great. I'll echo what they said. A couple points. You had a really nice use of triads, which is a very powerful speaking tool. I didn't write them down, but I just put triad every time you did it. I had a number of those on there. I talk a lot about, I think 50% of the power of the speech is in what I call your life force, your life energy, which is exactly what your speech was about. was about the fact that we're not a lifeless voice. And you brought your passion, and I define that by your passion, your conviction, your humility, and your sincerity, all bundled together, that comes out of you. And we're not computers, we're living beings, and we are emotional beings. And I thought that you brought that out very easy. And I thought it was a very timely, very important, very relevant message from that standpoint. So I wrote down good pace, good vocal variety, authentic and passion. That was what was coming through to me. It's like this was real to you. It wasn't a subject you picked just because, I think I'll do it. No, this was something you lived. This was something like,
Very personal.
we're talking about. On a suggestion, I thought you started to go into a close or a conclusion before you had your second meeting with Bob. I had connected through voices in my life. I thought the speech was wrapping up, so I was going into a wrap up, and then all of a sudden you pop back out and you go into this meeting with Bob. So I put down there a little star, a double close in your speech, and I see that sometimes when people they'll start to close the speech, then they pop back out, and you want to bring that thing along and then wrap it.
Yeah.
You want one close on it. So that would be a suggestion.
Chronologically, I did have that. That came after
Yeah.
Your Voice Matters, and then you went into the other
Yeah.
meeting with Bob.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I concur.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a little point there, but your presence, to echo, your presence there, I said, the thing I look for is the person's connected to their message. And they are the message that they're speaking. They're not giving a speech out here that, and I really felt you were coming across beautifully on that.
May I ask, what was your last line?
Nothing can replace your human voice.
Nothing can replace your human voice. I was sitting next to Craig, and I nudged him, and I think Darren also at the same time, and I just said, not the strongest last line.
Okay.
It was a soft landing. Now, it was an appropriate place to stop, but it didn't have impact.
Okay.
Your voice control and tone and manner, outstanding. What was the line that you used? I wrote this down, and I may have miswritten it, but what was the line that you used when you referred to the voices in my life that are missing? What was that?
Well, I was realizing that when I was talking about my mother, that one?
I think so.
And
Yes.
then when I asked the audience, are there any voices in your life that you wish you could hear again? I think
Yeah,
it's-
okay, so
something
can
like
you
that.
just stand and say that to the audience? I mean, just right now, just stand and say that to the audience, that one line.
That question.
Okay, okay, hold on a second. Are there any voices, oh my gosh, okay, sorry, I got thrown off, I see my best friend there. Are there any voices in your life? No, I'm in my head.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry, I'm in my head. What was the line?
The
Oh, yeah, I
voices in
wrote
your
it.
life that are missing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are there any voices in your life that you wish you could hear again? That's what I
Now,
said, that you wish you could hear.
My question to you is there a single one of you that is not answering that question in your own head?
Thinking of a name.
I mean, that's a powerful line. I mean, that one, that got me. Big deal. Because every one of us feel that going, oh yeah, if only I could hear. That was powerful.
Can you see the value of that level of feedback? I believe most presenters don't get the feedback they need to truly hit their full potential. So I created Stage Time University as a place where you could get that kind of feedback. We have live coaching calls where you get 2 world-class coaches giving you feedback on your story, your opening, your closing, to help you in just 20 minutes have a whole new speech, story, opening, or closing. Join us for Stage Time University and let that kind of feedback make you unforgettable. Join us.
Check out StageTimeUniversity.com, where good presenters become unforgettable.